Well, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody joining us. We got a great topic today. We're joined by Andrew from OpenSolar. Hello, Andrew.
Hey everybody. Hey Daniel. Glad to be here. Looking forward to
Yeah,
this.
yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to be talking today is about Briggs Stratton and OpenSolar. If people aren't familiar, OpenSolar is a solar proposal tool. So we'll start off with introductions. My name's Daniel Moyer. I'm one of the trainers here at Briggs Stratton. Andrew, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. My name is Andrew McGugan. I'm head of pro experience for OpenSolar's US team here.
Great. So really quickly, the agenda, the outline, we're going to talk about the history of solar and storage proposal tools. We're going to talk about how you can leverage OpenSolar's tools to make deals happen, close deals, which is really exciting for everybody in this busy industry trying to get onto the next job. Best practices for integrating solar and energy storage together into a cohesive offering. And then Andrew is going to walk us through a demo of the tool. I'm really excited to look at that and go through that. And then we'll kind of end it off by looking at some of our products that we offer here at Briggs & Stratton Energy Solutions. Not only our batteries, but also some of our generators as well. So, Andrew, you want to just walk us through a little bit on the OpenSolar and your history?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. So OpenSolar, we've been in business here for a number of years globally, but in the US, we've been active here since about 2020, 2021. We're the world's leading solar design and proposal software. So OpenSolar is currently being used in over 150 countries globally. We have teams in Australia, the UK, Europe, Philippines, and of course, the US. And what's really unique is, of course, we've got a coast-to-coast US sales and support team, but being a global company, we provide truly 24/7 global support coverage for our platform. What's really unique about us is that we're free of charge for the installers. So we've got a lot of great partners and manufacturers, groups we work with like Briggs and Stratton who help support OpenSolar, but we're free for the contractor. So the way we generate our revenue is integrations and partnerships. So finance deals will run through the platform if you need permitting and engineering services. There's a lot of different ways that we generate revenue, but the great thing for installers is it's free. And if you utilize any of the third-party services, it's the same relationship or program you do today. You're just doing it inside of OpenSolar. So there's no extra hidden fees or cost there. So we're truly free for the installer, which is really unique. But more importantly, we really focus on the community. So here at OpenSolar, we're built by solar professionals for solar professionals. Our CEO, our co-founders, a lot of our staff has decades of industry experience, and we're always taking in the feedback and stuff you guys see and experience on the platform and constantly iterating and evolving it for you. So as you get to learn the platform, let us know your thoughts, and we're more than happy to take that feedback and continue to make it better.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. One thing I forgot to mention at the beginning, if you have any questions during this talk, please put them into the Q&A. The chat feature is disabled. Put questions in the Q&A. We would love to hear your feedback, comments, questions. Let's go forward. So, Andrew, you mentioned Birchie is one of your co-founders. I came across an amazing article. Actually, it's a white paper that was co-authored by Andrew Birch. I guess he goes by Birchie. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep, affectionately known.
Yeah, and I've gotten to meet him a couple times, but this was a really cool white paper. It's called the New Electric Protocol, right? Consumer energy resources, right? The batteries on our homes, the solar on our homes, right? It's the lowest cost energy at the point of use on the electrical grid, right? They're privately funded, right? The homeowners are paying for this stuff. And what was really cool to hear, Andrew, is in aggregate, right, these distributed assets are the largest power plants on the grid, right? And they're the easiest technology to scale, right? You can just got many homes, you can add solar and batteries to it. And this white paper talks about establishing a framework. So everybody on this call is going to get a copy of these slides and a recording. So I encourage everyone to open up that article and take a look. It was really cool. Andrew, did you get a chance to read it yet?
Yeah, I have checked that out before. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that, Daniel. And I'd love to do one other call out here for the folks in the call, and that's Solar App. So that's Birchie's other big project that's helping lift the whole industry, but automated permitting for the US, and it has been will be established in California next year across the state. But yeah, check out Solar App as well. A big thing about us and about our founders is we're all trying to look to grow the industry and help get solar on more roofs. And yeah, same thing with electric protocol here, all efforts to help lift all boats in the industry. But thank you for sharing, Daniel.
Yeah, that's absolutely cool. So who wants to be sitting there at the city or the county permitting desk waiting for your permit plan sets to come through, right? So that's an exciting app as well. Really quickly on Briggs& Stratton, we are a truly global company. We've been around for a long time. So you know that, all things kind of being equal, everybody's got batteries today, lithium iron phosphate, right? But who's going to stand behind that product? Who's going to offer you a great warranty, great tech support? We have battery test centers all across the world. We're a huge company that has a lot of resources to stand behind you, the installers. So not only are we offering the energy storage batteries like you see there, but also generators, and we're an American-based company, at least for this sector here. So how did we used to do it, Andrew, right? If we wanted to go out to a home, right, we would have to get out our tape measure. We'd have to get out, and please put it in the comments if anybody has actually used this, one of these solar pathfinders. If anybody hasn't used these, I still think there's kind of a time and a place for them. You can still, even if you got a great looking modeling out of an OpenSolar proposal, you can still bring out this tool. Essentially, what you do is you set it level, you point it south, and then you can look at these lines that kind of arc across this little display here, and then it will show you visually where there's going to be shading potential. So that's how we used to do it, right? I think we've come a long way, Andrew. And so Andrew, talk a little bit about how, I notice sometimes when I'm in OpenSolar, some places have what are known as, I would say, 2D, and then sometimes have 3D, right? And some of this 3D imagery, right? You can see in that picture there, I can see where the trees are, the height of the trees. I can see the angle of my roof. I can see chimneys coming up. So talk a little bit about how the progression has gone from this kind of 2D imagery to what we're looking at. Is it LiDAR, right? Or it's not drones, is it? Is it aircraft?
Yeah, it's a great question. So thanks, Dale. I remember the early days of this too. I mean, we're both pretty young guys, but being in solar for about 12, 13 years, like starting in 2012 when I was a canvasser and a site visitor, we still use those solar pathfinders and sun eyes, right? So those are the good old days. Yeah, the cool thing about my history is I used to work at a company called Sungevity, which funny enough was CEO and co-founder of Birchie's first solar company. And we had what was called the iQuote, which is the digital quote. Go on a site, fill in the usage, and you'd get a remote solar design quote there. And it was great. I mean, the second generation was the satellites, right? So we had really great imagery. You saw Google rolling out nationwide, but all 2D. So you'd be able to get, great designs, show a beautiful proposal, but it was always, hey, we'll figure this out at the site visit, right? So you're always kind of selling on what you'd find out at the site visit, which wasn't always the most secure thing for a homeowner. So it's really exciting to see the progression of the, industry today and how we have 3D modeling, LiDAR, and DSM imagery. Today, OpenSolar is able to build the 3D models through our partner, mainly Google, but we also have Nearmap in there as well. They have a couple different approaches. Google's mostly satellites. They're taking all the 3D or 2D imagery from all different angles and obliques. And we're basically taking all that and stitching together a 3D model based on that digital surface imagery. Also, we're taking LiDAR and all that information to ping down and get the actual sun path and where the sun is coming from and where the angles hit the roof. So you can see all of the shading. It's pretty cool. We've got a whole table in there so you can see down to the month of the year and the time of the day and exactly where the sun's going to be at that given time of year and time of day. What's even cooler now is in our tool, you can actually chop and out and remove trees or add
Yeah.
trees as well. So that was something back in the day that we never could solve for, which is, hey, I want to go solar, but I've got this big tree in my southern exposure. It's going to mess up all my production. Well, in today's technology, you can show the homeowner what it would look like if they had removed that tree. So we've come a long way and it's really exciting and looking forward to showing you all a bit more in the demo here. So.
Yeah, and you can see kind of in that bottom picture, you can see some of those rays coming off those solar panels. Some are green, right? Some are red. That's showing you where you're getting shaded. And Andrew is going to share with us later how you can adjust that. So we've come a long way, really exciting. And what does that really mean for us, right? It's these new tools like OpenSolar, right? It's going to streamline the process. It's going to really make these proposal creations go a lot faster. There's a lot of really cool ways that we can engage the customer, right? They can look at different proposals. You as the installer is going to be able to look to see their engagement and get like live feedback. Did they click on it? Did they view it? And I think really what we were kind of getting at with some of that imagery is it's accurate now. Not only is it accurate for the shading, the production values, but also to be able to accurately show the financial payback as well. So what do? Right? They're going to be able to size the system. We're going to be able to put in our cost estimation, which is then going to be able to look for any sort of potential incentives that are available, and you can add those into the proposal. model that energy savings so that they know the homeowner is going to have an accurate proposal. So you're not just promising the everything, right? They're going to see when that payback is probably going to be happening, right? That return on investment as well. And I think really what made these really kind of cool, Andrew, is with this new 3D LiDAR is that you kind of get a picture of your home, or your, in this case, what we're looking at is a picture of a business. People love that. And Andrew's going to show us here. You can actually, I think it's right click and you can kind of look around and visually look at the house. People love seeing what the equipment looks like on the roof, so they get a great idea of what it can look like. So why, as you and the installer, why should you care about a good proposal, right? It's going to make you efficient, right? By automating a lot of those calculations. And what we'll also maybe get a chance to see, Andrew, is the bill of materials. I know Iron Ridge, which was a great racking company that we used when I worked for an installer, we really liked the XR100. You put some panels on a roof, it will be able to tell you exactly how long the rails, how many rails you should need, how many splice kits you need, how many mid clamps, end clamps, or camos, or whatever the case may be. Create that bill of materials so you're not having to sit there and do it by hand as well. Accuracy, right? I think that's really the key here, is being able to accurately model these things and have consistent calculations. Andrew, I think you're going to speak to it here in a little bit, but also, when you're creating these proposals, it gives you something that the homeowners can trust. They can look at it, and then they can also kind of fine tune which exact system that they want to go forward to. That CRM, I think, is really key. That helps you keep track of your projects so you know where they're at in the pipeline, and be able to see, hey, maybe somebody's looked at a proposal, they haven't committed to it. Let's get on the phone. Let's call them up. Let's see what any objections, and handle those objections and get them over the finish line as well. I also know, Andrew, that you offer in your proposals the really great way to kind of brand yourself, right? You can put your logo on there. You can put testimonials. Speak a little bit more about that, Andrew, please.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, you can totally customize OpenSolar. So it's a full end-to-end platform, right? It's a CRM, a project manager, design, sales tool, and even has some post-sale elements as well, and some engineering pieces to it. But what's really great is you can make the whole thing your own. So the entire platform can be logoed and branded with all your company logo and your color scheme. But more importantly, in the proposal, you can do that as well. You can also add any custom content you want. So YouTube videos or Vimeo or images, embeddable forms or sheets. You can put all that kind of stuff in the proposal to really make it stand out as your own. We do actually have a pretty big new release coming early next year. We'll have multiple customizable templates, so it's going to continue to get even better to differentiate yourself in the market.
Yeah, and thank you, Andrew. And also, and I'm not sure if we'll get too deep into it, but there's a lot of ways to save project files in OpenSolar as well. The permit plan set, the contract, right? A lot of these different documents that you've otherwise got on your computer somewhere can now be all saved in one spot. And then we'll talk about this here in a little bit, is that you can have multiple users being able to use this from your company, use this one project tool, so that you can really collaborate and not have to be sending emails back and forth as well. So why should homeowners care about a proposal tool, right? One thing I think it's really key is that they want to see the payback. They want to see what it's going to cost them, what it's going to save them, and how it's going to perform over time. Having that kind of tailored proposal to their individual needs and their budgets is really powerful for them. And again, I already mentioned this, but look at their house, right? They'd be able to see their house sitting there, modeled with the solar panels, to be able to see where they're at. I mean, they're the ones that are going to have to be looking at this system on their roof for the next 20 years. Sometimes people don't want it on the front of their house. That's fine. We can put it on the back of the house with the click of a button, or drag the panels over there and demonstrate what the implications in the energy production might be for something like that. Understanding what they're getting into, I think, is really key, that you have this outside third-party software that's able to model a lot of this. So why OpenSolar of all of them, right? Well, one of and Andrew hit upon this, it's free. I think that's really cool that you're able to have this free, it's open, right? OpenSolar, and be able to have that that system design with the real-time data. And I think that's really key right now, that you kind of open it up, you can enter in their kilowatt hours per month, their rate structure. But now when we're dealing with net metering agreements, where the price of electricity might be different for every day of the year and every hour of that day. And then not only that, but then you have homeowners where they have different behavior. Now maybe they use energy. It's a retired couple that uses most energy during the day. Maybe it's a working family that comes home in the evening and they're using more energy in the evening. It's able OpenSolar is able to take in that 15-minute interval data, these huge data sets, and then do the calculations behind the scene and then really accurately model that. And I think that's key when we're coming into these new net metering agreements. And now it's been kind of easy to put solar panels on a roof and know how many kilowatt hours you're going to get a year. But with the advent of energy storage, what is that going to look like? And how is that going to affect the payback when we can discharge the battery during certain times of the day, charge it during certain times of the day, offset certain loads, or maybe we're sending it back to the grid. And OpenSolar has some really unique, powerful tools, and we'll get into those a little bit later about that as well. I think, how powerful is it to have financing easy and accessible to the homeowners? Does that help us close sales, Andrew?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, speed is key, right? Time kills deals, as we all know. So the faster you can do it and the easier you can make that process, the better, right? I think Daniel said earlier, homeowners want to see their options, right? And they want their installer to help educate them on what the best choice will be for their home because they don't know much or they're new to solar usually most of the time. So being able to present all those different options up front, be able to tailor the right solution for them, to be able to access the financing, the contract, all of that in one single proposal versus having to navigate different environments or different operating systems or platforms, makes it just seem like a very seamless and easy process. And the homeowner wants to feel that in the sale because they want to know and be reassured that it will be an easy and simple process to install and interconnect them, right? So the easier you make it seem like their solar journey is just going to make sense, the easier it's going to be for you to get that sale.
Yeah, and that's why maybe I should create winning proposals quickly and efficiently and close jobs and get paid, right? That I should add that onto there a little bit. Absolutely. Thank you. Usability, right? We have a lot of generator dealers around the country that are now just starting to get into solar plus storage. And then this is a new tool for them. But what's really cool is that I know we're going to share it here. You guys got a great help center that has a lot of videos that tell you exactly how to use your tool and put together these proposals without having to be an expert. So it's great for new users, and I think it would also be, it's really awesome for experienced solar installers because there's a lot of tools and nuances that you can really dive into and work through. We already talked about collaboration. We already talked about having it be a great CRM that's built into one platform. And Andrew, you already talked a little bit about having it be reliable customer support. We all know what it's like to be sitting there on the outside of a building trying to get a system commission. But additionally, we might also know what it's like to be when you have a question or you're not just getting it to work right, that you can reach out to your customer support. Andrew, I see we have a question. Let's keep them coming. I'll read it. Has any company, software, app begun modeling deciduous trees, right? The trees leave the leaves fall off in the winter. Recently, they had a customer noting that their trees in PV in one of their systems were bare in late fall to early spring. How are we? Is that possible yet, Andrew?
We don't have the ability yet to show the differences between, like if the trees show up in the imagery, unfortunately, and they're kind of missing that, it's going to have that problem. But you do have the ability to add trees in OpenSolar. So you can add kind of a big oak tree that has all the leaves. So if you're noticing the leaves are missing, you could just add a tree and on top of that, size it to the same general size and it will fill in the same way. So we have a workaround for it, but it is something we are working to fix in one of our upcoming product releases. So, but definitely a challenge we're highlighting, which is kind of industry wide across the software platforms at this time.
Yeah, that's a great question. Something so we really getting accurate on it as well. Um, Andrew, talk and well, actually, I'm sorry, I want to go back. So there's a new feature you guys just launched. It's called cash flow. Tell us a little bit about cash flow.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. So cash flow is a way to not only process your payments, but also to manage your cash flow and your payments for your projects. We know this is one of the most challenging areas for installers across the country. And we also know that a lot of these payment processing apps or accounting softwares can be quite expensive for installers. And our whole goal with OpenSolar is to create an ecosystem of services in one platform and do it for free for the installer and in a way that's cheaper for them or benefits us, right? And we can benefit the whole industry that way. So cash flow is an ability for you to process your deposits, milestone payments, and even future visits like truck rolls or site visits. You can do it all right in OpenSolar. It's really simple. And then not only that, but you have a dashboard which shows you each project and allows you to track all those milestone payments, what's been received, what's outstanding, what is, late. And you can track that in a project by project basis or overall for all of your projects. So it's a really great way for you to know what's been collected, what's still outstanding, and help you manage that incoming and outgoing cash flow for your business. And the great news is it's an OpenSolar. There's no cost to sign up for it. There is a fee when you process the payment, but it's cheaper than Stripe, QuickBooks, or any traditional payment processor. And you can currently process payments via cash, ACH, or credit cards, soon PayPal, Google Pay, and Apple Pay.
That's really cool, right?
Yeah.
So we can design the system, get the contract paid, no more DocuSign, right? And then be able to get paid all in one, get your permit done all in one tool as well. Really cool. So let's keep going on. I want to make sure we leave a little time for the demo you got for this. Talk a little bit about, right? What do we have on this screen here, Andrew?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. So this is a little bit about OpenSolar. So with OpenSolar here, it's fast. So once you get proficient with the platform, it's really easy to get design done and completed. We have automated 3D design in OpenSolar with actually a lot more automation coming soon here in the new year. All you have to do is paint on the panels, and it's automatically calculating the azimuth, the pitch, the shading, and all the information for you, energy production, offset, all of that kind of stuff. You can create custom interactive proposals in just under 5 minutes. And as mentioned or talked about earlier, we have all the big solar financing companies plugged in, so you can integrate them right in the platform. Anyone you're already working with, you can set up their options right in OpenSolar. And in the proposal, right where you show the solution to your customer, you can sign your contracts. You can actually do all the loan application, credit check, and even get the approval right there in the tool. So you can, again, e-sign all that and even process those payments. So again, just a one-stop, really simple place to show your customer the journey, educate them, and then hopefully close them on the sale.
Yeah, and that's what's really cool is that you can do this uh, through the homeowner and see what they're clicking on, see what they're taking a look at as well. So, one thing that we think about is how accurate is this information, right? And you guys have a really couple cool third party, right? We don't have to believe Andrew's word that these things are accurate. Why? Because you guys went out to NREL and PVEL, and you had not only the accuracy of the modeling, right? Is the roof that actual size? Is that tree actually that tall? You were able to show that, and then also be able to model the shade, right? And so there's really cool white papers here. And again, everybody attending is going to be able to have links to both of these. These are clickable links, and you can jump in there and read a little bit more about how you guys were vetted by these two reputable companies or organizations, I should say, to make sure that what you're presenting is accurate as well. So it's an all-in-one, right, Andrew?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. Yeah, so again, all on one platform, right? So trying to just create that ecosystem of services for the installer in one place. So we have a CRM that's built in there. We also have the ability to connect OpenSolar with other CRMs, accounting softwares or software platforms through our Open API, which is publicly available online. It's a web-based browser. That's what you'll see today. So great for your desktop or laptop, but we do have OpenSolar available in the App Store. So if you want to take this out in the field on your tablet or mobile phone, you can do that. It has all the same functionality and feature you get on the computer. And then Daniel mentioned this earlier, but there's a lot of great post-install documentation. So site plans, shading, bankable shading reports, user manuals, install packs. You can even create your own custom documents. So, permitting docs, interconnection docs, all that kind of stuff you can create in OpenSolar and even send it out for signature through the app.
Yeah, it's not lost in your computer hard drive, and then somebody else in your team can't find it, right? It's all in one. It really keeps it organized. It helps move it faster, right? So, again, right, you can do it in person. You can also do this remote selling because the homeowner has an interactive proposal. Some people still like a good old printed piece of paper, right, Andrew? Like, and you can still do the PDF and print it out and bring it to the homeowner as well. Give them options for multiple systems. Give them options for multiple ways to pay for the thing as well. And again, they get a great looking high definition 3D image of their home. You get notified when somebody clicks on it. And then you can also, right, you can schedule and make that connection through the homeowner. It's really this end-to-end functionality to see the deal through, get the system signed, get a proposal, get it signed, get it done, and then get off to the next job as well. So one thing I think that's key, and I want to spend a little time talking about that before we go into the demo, is modeling batteries, right? So Briggs and Stratton makes lithium ion batteries, home storage for your homes and businesses. And with these batteries, right, they're not just there for standby. They're not, now, of course, homeowners are going to be able to back up the home when the power goes out. But with these lithium ion batteries, they're able to cycle themselves repeatedly without losing a lot of in the capacity. We're able to now use a home battery as an interactive grid appliance, is what I would call it. And we really need to be able to model that out. And so what we need to do is we need to tell OpenSolar, right, what kind of battery we're using, and also how we're going to be programming that solar converter or whatever piece of our equipment. How is that battery going to behave when it's actually installed in the real life? So what we need to do is we need to tell OpenSolar, and Andrew, right, all what we're about to talk about is going to be already pre-programmed. You're just going to choose the battery. But I want to just make sure we understand the fundamentals here. All right, we got to put a battery into OpenSolar, and OpenSolar already has our Briggs and Stratton batteries in there. We need to tell what's the max charge and discharge rate of the battery. That's going to be able to tell, all right, if we're discharging a battery, how fast can we discharge it? We need to know that batteries all degrade over time. That's normal. How fast does that degrade? What's the usable capacity? What's the efficiency of the battery? I think the key one here, and we're going to spend a little more time talking about this, is how and when is the battery going to be charged or discharged based on the way you program it. So are we going to discharge the battery during time of use? If we don't have net metering agreements, are we going to use solar to charge up the batteries during the day and then discharge that battery at night? We need to know the electrical rate, right? That's going to help determine the interconnection policy as well, whether it's DC or to AC coupled. And I think that's really cool, Andrew, that your tool is making the difference between the two, right? So if everyone remembers, maybe from some of our previous webinars, we are DC coupled, right? It's more efficient because it's DC coupled. We're not going from DC to AC, AC back to DC, DC to AC. Those conversions you lose. Another advantage of DC coupled, and this I just want to highlight really quickly. I think this graphic on the right really explains it. You got DC coming up off the roof, and when you flow into a hybrid inverter, like a Solarc or a Lux or one of the types, you're actually using charge controllers. So you're not getting that inverter clipping, and the inverter isn't the bottleneck in the system. So we're able to send on all that DC on the DC bus, charge up the batteries, and then the home is going to use the AC to power the loads or potentially send back to grid. On an AC coupled system, right, the bottleneck right there is the solar inverter. So I got the example down there, and I'm not going to read through it because we're going to make sure we leave some time for this demo that Andrew is going to walk us through. But I think that's really cool that you're looking at all of the variables of how a battery is going to operate, how it's going to be connected, and that's going to then allow us to model a proposal, the payback period for a homeowner. Another thing that's really cool you look at is right, what's the offsettable load? Are we backing up the whole home? Are we just have a critical load setter? And then also additionally, how much of that load demand we can offset based on the power of our system. So Andrew, really quickly, so what are we looking at, right? We're looking at the battery control scheme. We're going to tell OpenSolar how we intend to program the inverter. So maybe quickly walk us through some of these different schemes, knowing that there's more available, and there's also customizable battery schemes as well. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Daniel. And it's all about telling the battery when you want it to charge and discharge and interact with the grid, and especially the utility company utility rate that this customer is under. And it's going to vary based on the state and location, which one you want to use, right? So you got a couple options here. I'm going to highlight this first one for self-consumption. It says in most cases you want to select this battery scheme. I would actually argue there's a lot of cases where you want to be selecting the maximize savings option, and I'll kind of explain why in just a moment. Self-consumption is trying to mainly protect the energy with the home, right? So you're trying to charge from any excess solar generation that's remaining after you've offset the load, right? So essentially you're trying to fill in the appliances in the home first and that's running and use the solar energy for that. And the excess is going into the battery until the battery is full. And then once that's occurred, the generation is greater than the load and the battery's been filled, it's going to discharge to meet any load after that self-consumption. So if you basically have additional load you got to cover once the solar stops producing quite as much, the battery's discharging to meet that load. And then afterwards, anything else is going to be sent to the grid, right? So it's really trying to focus on storing energy in the battery, covering the load in the home, and then discharging after the fact, right? Minimizing grid import costs, that's going to be a little similar to this one, but the main goal of this one is trying to avoid pulling in any grid energy, especially when rates are not in your favor, right? So if energy is cheap from the grid, it's not going to matter to pull that in, but especially if you've got expensive grid rates at certain times of the day, it's going to really try to avoid pulling that. Maximize savings is kind of the best of both worlds. So maximize savings is really going to work with the utility company. It's basically going to try to do solar all day long, right? So you're trying to use solar and store as much in the battery as you can in the middle of the day when, rates are cheap. You don't want to be exporting at all. So you're trying to avoid any kind of export when the rates aren't in your favor. And then you're basically trying to dump the battery when the rates are quite a bit more expensive. So you're making way more value for those credits based on what time of day you're exporting them. So maximize savings is going to look at the utility rate, and this is especially important for time of use, and optimize the charging, the dumping to go along with those export values. So you're really maximizing the gain and avoiding the loss with the credit exchange. Now, this is a really important one, maximize savings. If you're in a place where you're going to use this in time of use, like California and M3, you really want to try to get the interval data in there. If you can get that green button or interval data loaded in your project, it's going to really help with our system to know exactly what the customer's usage habits are and know exactly when to optimize that charging and discharging. Uh, the
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, I don't know if you have anything to add there, Daniel. Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
This is the last one here, which I don't know if it's shown on the screen, but we have one more, a fourth option, which is it's basically peak demand shaving. So that's essentially for a state like Arizona, for instance, where you've got a lot of challenges with peak demand charges. And it's
Mm.
going to try to utilize the battery to keep you under that demand value so you're not ever exceeding it and getting hit with those charges, right? So that's a really good one if you're in a place like Arizona. And then the kind of fifth option, like Daniel mentioned, is being able to customize these. That's a pretty in-depth, and you can always reach out to our team for help. But if you really want to customize how you want that battery to charge and discharge, then you are able to actually create custom schemes as well if you'd like.
Yeah, and I think it's really important, right? You can put this into the OpenSolar model, right, and model this, but it's really important as you, the installer, that you then program the inverter to behave in the way that you've identified here. And I do know that SolarArc and a lot of the other inverters have very powerful controls that allow you to program that SolarArc or other piece of equipment to do what you're saying you're modeling to do there. So really cool, awesome. So what we're going to do is Andrew's going to demonstrate here in a second, but what do you need to know ahead of time, right? You need to have the of course the homeowner's name and address, their energy usage, and more importantly their utility rate. And also you really need to know what utility rate they're going to be forced onto after you have done your interconnection agreement as well. We're going to do a system design and sizing, that financial analysis. We're going to create a proposal. We're going to get a contract signed, and we're going to get our money as well. So, Andrew, why don't you go ahead and take over here, and we'll go ahead and look at your demo really quick.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to mute myself there, but sounds great, Daniel. Thank you. I'll take it over right now. So
And keep any questions coming as Andrew's changing us over here.
awesome. All right, great. You can see my screen there, okay, Daniel?
Yep.
Perfect. So yeah, we are in the OpenSolar environment here. There's going to be four main zones here to OpenSolar. I'm going to highlight those really quickly, and we're going to focus mainly on designing, selling, proposing with batteries and with Briggs Stratton products. But if you want a full demo of all the functionality and features of OpenSolar, please reach out to our team. Daniel will share some information in the following email here after this call. But we're happy to hop on a call, do a full demo with you, and help you all get started with the platform. So you can sign up on our website, opensolar.com. It's going to bring you right here. You've got, again, the four main zones. The home page here, this is where you enter a project address to start designing. This is a smart search feature, so you're going to go ahead, type in your address, click on the property it belongs to, and that's going to pull up our design tool here. And all you want to do is make sure you've got your home nice and centered in this white checkered box. Once you do, you can go ahead and hit Create Project. And that's going to go ahead and get you started. Now, once you create a project, that's going to bring you to our project zone. Now, I'm going to kind of not go any further forward with this. We'll open one we've already got. But basically, it'll take you into that project zone to start a project. When you're in a project here, it's going to have a bunch of tabs across the top to manage your project. So you'll have the Manage tab here. This is to manage all the stages, the action items, and all of these can be customized. So you can customize all the stages here, the steps your team needs to take to move the project along. You'll see any activities or notes or things that your team has done here in the account. What's pretty cool is you also get live notifications from your customers. So we'll look at that in a moment, but if they look at your proposal, look at your contract, it actually tells you when they were in there, how long they were in there, and it timestamps it, which is really great buying signals for you and your team to know who to follow up with and chase. You'll have all the contact information up here. You can specialize or specify whether it's residential or commercial. You can even set your priority levels or searchable tags for the project. You'll have the ability to go ahead and check the activities, customize fields on here, share the proposal, or even dig into some extra settings. Now down here, you're going to have all your documents. So as mentioned, you can upload and store any documents in here. You can also generate documents. You can either add files in here or generate them. These are contracts, shade reports, bill of materials, all that kind of stuff we mentioned earlier. You can sign in with our native signer on OpenSolar. We have a native signing tool. We also are connected with DocuSign. We have a couple other integrations coming soon too for contract signing. And then as Daniel mentioned, the bill of materials. Now, there's a lot of other info in here. You can either use our CRM or you can connect your own, but you have sales and marketing info, details on all the designs you built and the home and the business, so site and building details there, summary of all the system designs. You've got sale information once you sold it. You've got install info that shows up in here as well once you're ready to install. We have an integration with Green Lancer, so if you want to order a permit plan set and engineering, you can do that right here from Green Lancer in our tool. You can also download the DXF file or generate the SLDs to build your own permit plan set. And you can also, again, upload permitting docs, interconnection docs, and share those or sign them with your customer. So a lot of things you can do here. You can set all this stuff up for your account in the control zone. This is kind of the back end for the company, the toolbox, but you could set up all your company info and teams back here. If you're an EPC or a dealer who works with other outside organizations like other dealers or EPCs, we have a program called Teams where you can actually connect two different organizations together and share projects, share red lines, share access to financing. So you can build that whole web of EPC and dealers in OpenSolar as well. You can upload all your pricing information, all your cost information. That's very versatile and customizable. So many different ways to price and cost your systems and designs. You can build a whole library of adders. You'll have all your payment options here. So these are all of our integrated finance partners. When you connect with them, it pulls in all the options you're authorized to sell. And this is done via API. So anytime that they change their dealer fees or finance options, all you have to do is click refresh right here and it instantly updates all of your products. So again, really easy, no manual entry, and you can propose and sell these right in your tool. If you don't work with any of these, that's totally fine. You don't have to use them. You can also manually add any lease, TPO, cash finance, any option you want to. Like if you're working with a local bank or credit union, you can add and display all those options in here as well, even if they're not an integrated partner. We have a very comprehensive library of modules, inverters, batteries, and other done and sell in here very easily. You can even program all of your setback and design rules and simulation settings. And as Daniel and I were talking about earlier, all of your battery control schemes are here as well. You'll have the ability to customize your proposals, your contracts, the entire checkout experience. And back here, we're going to have all of our databases for utility rates, incentives, integrations. Everything you need to access will be back here. There's a nice dashboard. So again, we provide lots of great support for you here. We have weekly webinars we do every single week for training. There's orientation videos and walkthrough guides. We even have a full help center with all the information and details you'll need to navigate the system. And as always, you can contact us or reach out to us if you need help or need to book a demo or need support. We have down here the assigned activities. You can see all the activities assigned between you and your team members down here. And then what I was mentioning earlier, the client interactions. So anytime one of your clients looks at any of your proposals within OpenSolar, you get live notifications and a timestamp. So again, it can help you prioritize which customers to work with here. So
I think that's really cool, Andrew. So it's more than just a solar proposal tool, right? It's the ability to offer financing. It's the ability to track the homeowners and know who's a hot lead. I really like that Green Lancer feature, right? So you're able, I love Green Lancer. They created great proposals and you just, right, it just sends off your information to Green Lancer and you get your permit plan set back. Is that right?
Oh, yep, sorry, that is right, Daniel. So yeah, exactly. You'll be able to send that directly to Green Lancer. It APIs all the information over, and then you go on the Green Lancer portal, fill in a couple of things you learned from the site visit, and you'll
Yeah.
get that product right back from them based on what you order. It's really sleek, and we're working out with a couple other partners that'll come soon as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions there or thoughts, Daniel?
No questions. Anybody
Cool.
has a question, comments, please put it in Q&A.
Thank you. So we're going to move forward to the kind of meat and potatoes of all this, which I know you're all very excited about, which is how do we actually design a system in OpenSolar? So that next tab in the project zone will be the energy tab. This is where you enter that usage and utility information. So lots of different ways to do that. You can do kilowatt hour values. You can do bill dollar values. You can even do a low, medium, or high estimate if you don't have the information for the property. You also have the ability to upload that interval data. So as Daniel was mentioning, you can upload that CSV or Excel file right here. We take all the formats, vertical or horizontal, 15, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes. But you just got to get that green button data right from the California utility or get that spreadsheet from your utility company if you're in another state, and you can upload that spreadsheet right here. That'll give us all the granular data, which allows our system to know how to interact with the customer's usage habits, especially when it comes to cost savings and how the battery functions. Now, if you don't have that interval data, that's fine. You can use our monthly consumption chart. You can do that with kilowatt hour values or bill values. Just follow the chart on your customer's utility bill, punch in the information here. What's nice is that even if you don't have all 12 months, like if they're a brand new homeowner, you can enter what you do have and it will build out the rest of the year with seasonality based on the size and location of the property. But of course, if you can get all 12 months in here, that's going to give you the most accurate data other than the interval data. And if you do need to go ahead and tell the system how this customer uses their energy, you do have some function in here to configure those usage profile curves. So you can kind of configure when the customer is using their energy on the evenings, during the weekday, the weekends. You can fill that in here and it will show you kind of the curve and the graph. Again, it won't be as pinpoint perfect as if you have the interval data, but you can again give the system some idea of what the customer's habits are. Once you've got the usage data in here, oh, I forgot one thing, which is utility API. So this is a partner, a third-party partner, but if you do work with utility API, this is a great integration because this allows you to directly import the customer's consumption habits right from their utility account, and it gives you that granular interval data. So that could be a faster, easier way than the spreadsheets. But no matter how you get the data, you'll get that all in here. You'll see the chart down here. And then probably the second most piece, or maybe the most important, is the actual utility company and rate plan. So you'll have the utility company that should pull up automatically from wherever the address of the home is, and it'll have the basic residential rate plan. You just want to double check this is what they're on today. And then you want to select what the post solar rate is going to be. So if they're on one rate before solar and a different rate after, like in California, we'll end up on an M3 plan. You want to just select those things here. And that's really easy to do. Just hit select tariff right here. You can search by the utility company like PG&E or type in Pacific Gas and Electric, either way. That used to be able to work, but let me just type in the actual utility. So yeah, if you type that in, you can select the utility company right there. It'll pull up all the rates for them. Just use a keyword from what you see on the bill for that rate plan. Type that in, it will pull up the rate you want to use, and then just hit select to add it. You can always click on the rate to get into all the details of it. So if you want to see the exact charges or the export schedule, all of that is built into here. And for the NEM3 rates, we have all 576 export values built in.
Yeah.
So it really knows when to charge and discharge based on the time of year and time of day. Cool. That's the energy page. So if you have any questions about that, leave that here in the chart. We'll go to the design studio next. And the design studio here is where you're going to really build out the system design. So we're in OpenSolar's design studio. This is the 3D mode here. So we've got multiple modes here, the 3D mode, the 2D mode, and the manual mode. You really want to be using 3D whenever it's available to you. It's going to be the most automatic version of OpenSolar, but also the most accurate. So it's going to calculate the shading, the pitch, the azimuth, and have kind of the most accurate values with automation here. Now, Google is the default. Google has gotten really aggressive at expanding their Google Solar API. So the 3D coverage has gotten really great across the country now. But in
Yeah.
certain states like California, they cover 100% of the state now. So in a lot of places, you've got really good coverage there, a lot better than it used to be. And it's a lot more crisp and clear than it used to be as well. But we do have some other imagery partners. Nearmap is the other one that's in here. You can easily select Nearmap in here and you can see the date and timestamp of when it was taken. Nearmap is a premium partner, so you do need to sign up with Nearmap outside of OpenSolar to access it. They'll give you an API key to use their data. We do also have Nearmap's pay per project option. So again, we're a free platform. Google's in there for you anytime you need it. But if you do want to use Nearmap, you're not signing up with them monthly, but let's say Google has a bad imagery in a location, you can access Nearmap's data for $4.50, which is not too expensive if you're just doing it one-off here and there, but it will allow you to get all of that 3D data for a Nearmap if for some reason Google has a gap in coverage. So that is a secondary option. You do also have the ability to upload imagery. So if you have, data from images you've taken or from other sources, you can upload those, even blueprints, and turn them into a 3D model or design on them. We have the 3D mode as a backup. There's 2D and manual. 2D is just the top-down 2D image, which you can again design a nice proposal on. It's just not going to calculate the automatic calculations or shading. So you need to be really careful that 2D does not pick up shading. You can put in all those values manually if you want to, or you can actually use our manual mode where you can take a 2D image with some automation, you can draw it out and turn it into a 3D model, and then you can size the trees around it to get an idea of the shading. So if 3D is unavailable, you do have some other options, whether it's these two or manually uploading and turning a image into a 3D model. But again, 3D is very available across the US now with either Google or Nearmap, and that should give you everything you need. So with the 3D mode, that's what you want to use. Daniel and I talked about this earlier. That's kind of the power of the evolution of the solar tool.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll be able to really easily see all the different angles. I don't know if you have anything to add there, Daniel. So.
No, I think that's key, right? That was the progression. I remember when having to do the manual mode, get a cup of coffee in the morning and design it out. Look how far we've come.
Yep, thank you. Exactly. So I've got three pre-built systems here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at as if we were doing this from scratch. So I'll start a brand new system. You just hit the add new system button to do that. Before I get started, I like to highlight that I can right click and hold to move around all of this or zoom in or zoom out with the scroll wheel on my mouse. You've also got the compass down here that allows you to do that. And you can do that with the plus and minus buttons. The shading icon here will allow you to toggle that on and off so you can see a nice thermal heat map of the property to know the best roof faces to design the solar on. When I'm ready to design, I just hit the drop down right here. I've got these tabs across the left to build. So I'll choose my modules here. Let's choose one of our partners, Panasonic. So we'll select that as well. We'll choose the panel company. Again, this is my demo account, so I've got a bunch of different options in here. Usually you'll just have the 4 or 5 that your team is selling with. But once I select the panels, I just hit the plus panel button right here, choose portrait or landscape. You'll see the module come out as it's following the roof. And all you have to do is left click to place it, left click on these boxes, or left click and drag, and that will go ahead and build out the array. You also have the ability to draw out the roof. There's an auto layout, auto design feature. We also have a straight up AI coming pretty soon, but you have a lot of different options here to help you with that auto design. Now, once you've built this, you've got the ability to flush mount this. You can do a single tilt or a dual tilt if you've got a flat roof. You can also do ground mount systems on here as well. It's pretty easy to do. You can do carports in OpenSolar, and you've got the basic settings or the advanced settings if you really want to split out, columns or rows or set up different settings for spacing, or if you want to do tracking or offsets, we have all those features here in OpenSolar. Now, as you're laying out these panels or adding or removing anything, it's constantly calculating and recalculating for you here the system size, the offset percentage, and the first year of production. So to recalculate those things for me up here with that blue bar, it also gives me the automatic azimuth and slope of the roof. So I'm at 122% offset right now, 13,600 kilowatt hours. 123-degree azimuth, 18-degree slope. I can click the pencil there to unlock those and manipulate them. I can also change the orientation between portrait or landscape. I can even raise these off the roof or off the ground with clearance if I wanted to. So lots of great things to go ahead and manipulate these modules if you need to make changes. You can also go ahead and easily move them around. So if I click back on the array, I'll have this little directional pad I can move them with. So a lot of great functionality and feature. But probably the most important feature here that people love the most is our shading tool. So the bottom of each module array, you're going to have this drop down, which gives you the months of the year, the times of the day, and the average solar access or shade impact. So if I right click and hold, I get these ray tracers now. That's what we saw earlier. And I can look at like July at 6 in the morning, click on that. It shows me exactly where the sun access is coming from and what's impacting or shading the system, even down to the module level. So I can easily see the impact here. And as I mentioned earlier, if I wanted to look at like, middle of the day, and let's say this big tree was impacting my system, I can actually come over here to my advanced drop down. I've got the tree trimmer, the tree adder. I can grab that tree trimmer, this little puck, just slide that puck in wherever you want to chop the tree out. And it'll let me either use the arrow keys or the values here on the left. And I can easily go ahead and here, type in the values I want. It'll make that puck bigger or smaller. slide that right in where you want the tree to get removed, and you can move it up or down, and it will chop out or top that tree wherever you put that sliding puck. So once it does that, I can go ahead and look at my panels, and it will actually show me what the system looks like if that tree had been removed. Now it takes about 10 seconds. It gets a little laggy when I'm on a webinar here, but if I take a look at that, I've got a lot better production now. Once it loads, you can see I went up from like 86 to 88%. And I can look around at certain times of the year where that tree was impacting the system. And you can see right there, all my green lines where the tree was impacting me there is now not. So a great way to go ahead and add and remove trees and build out the modules there. Now we have the ability to do mounting and racking in here. So we have Iron Ridge right now. There are some new racking partners coming. But what's pretty awesome here is once you've done the layout for the modules, you can just go ahead and do a quick save right there. Once you save it, you can go to the mounting section next, and you'll see Iron Ridge right there. So we'll just let this really quickly apply. Hit import bill of materials. You can fill in all the information for the project, the type of the material of the roof, the attachment you want to use, the roof shape and the roof height, the rail type as well. You have some advanced fields here, but you can click this button that sends everything to Iron Ridge, builds my whole project in the Iron Ridge account, and I get all my racking right here in the project with my attachment, my bill of materials, and my cost of goods. So I can save that, I can add it all right to the project, and when I'm done designing everything, I can generate a bill of materials for the whole project with all of my equipment and my associated costs, and I can send that right to my distributor for ordering. Now the inverter section here, I can do a couple options here. I can add the inverter manually, or I can auto size and auto string it. I have all my different manufacturers in here. Let's go ahead and find Solarc. I can select the manufacturer and the voltage range. So we'll do Solarc 240, hit auto add best inverter, and that will auto size and auto string the inverter for me, right? So I've
I think
got
that's really cool, right? So these inverters have maximum power point trackers in their MPPTs. So you can see those little purple lines now tell me to tell the guys out on the roof how to string it as well. Really quickly, Andrew, we do have a question. I know we're coming up close to the top of the hour. If you want to model a building that doesn't yet exist, can you draw that in manual mode? Can I import like maybe a blueprint and add that in there?
Yeah, that's correct. So you can upload build blueprints, building designs, and all of that. You upload it in 2D, but you can also turn it into a 3D model. So we definitely have the ability to do that. And check out our support center. We've got nice videos and training material on that, but we'd also be happy to help you in a demo there. But yes, all that's possible.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah. All right, so in the battery section, that's next here. Oh, back up on inverters. You do have the ability to see how many modules, how many MPPTs, you can see all that information here. If the inverter is undersized or oversized, you get little warnings. These don't stop you. They're just letting you know you might want to check the sizing of that inverter. And if you overstring, understring, or size the inverter wrong, these bubbles go red. So if you're out of the voltage ranges or you've done this incorrectly, it'll let you know. Now the battery section's next here. With the batteries, you can add them manually or with our sizing tool. So we have this awesome battery sizing tool now, the Battery Design Assistant. You can click on that, click on the goal you're looking to achieve right here. So maximize savings, self-consumption, or peak demand shaving. If we choose maximize savings here, it'll choose, you can manually enter how many hours of backup or continuous power or peak power you want. Or you can do that by appliance. You can actually come in here, type in how many hours of backup you want, and then toggle on or add all the appliances your homeowner wants to back up. And then we'll automatically size and recommend a battery option for you. The other option you have is adding these manually. So you can easily hit the plus battery button, choose manual, and then you can search for Briggs & Stratton and add that manually. We've got a couple options we've already built here. So the 6.65 or 6.6 rather, Briggs & Stratton SimpliPHI battery, that's right here. We've already added these, but you can add those in. Again, as Daniel mentioned, you've got the ability to choose between AC and DC connected here. And you can also choose your control scheme. I've got a couple custom options that I built you can ignore, but you'll have the main four: self-consumption, minimize grid import cost, maximize savings, or peak demand shaving all right here. And what's pretty cool is if you want to look at the summary tab, we'll see this in the proposal in a moment, you can see how that solar produces in yellow and how the battery charges in blue and discharges. And the red over here is exporting to the grid. So you can see how that battery is interacting and working and a preview before you go to your customer with that. So that's again how you go ahead and size the system to the inverters, the batteries. Other components will be for all the balance of systems and electrical gear and the racking. You can add all of that in if you want to. This is a great place to add generators, charge controllers, any of those other products Briggs & Stratton has to offer. And then
Rapid shutdown.
rapid shutdown. So actually that happens under the modules here. So I did
Okay.
this on the other systems, but you'll see this button for Use DC Optimizer, and you can select your Tigos, your AP Smart System, or anything else you want to do there. You can do that right here in the panel tab. You can also do it in the other tab under DC Optimizers. So you can do it in either area, but you do want to make sure you add those if you've got rapid shutdown or optimizers you want to add. Thanks for the comment there. And then last is pricing. So you can price out your system lots of different ways. You can do all my pricing schemes. You can do price per watt. You can do cost plus markup. You can do a price per watt that changes based on system size, or you can just do enter your price manually as I've done here. You can load all your costs in OpenSolar, set different commission levels for different teams or team members, and all your adders and discounts are available here as well. You can add any of those from a library, so you can build a whole library of adders and discounts, and you'll see a great breakdown. So I don't have this all loaded for my demo account here, but you can actually load all your costs for your equipment, your labor, and your business, and your pricing here based on the payment option. So I got a couple options here, and you'll be able to see a breakdown of your cost, your price, and your margin right here in OpenSolar. The last thing here is incentives. Those will apply automatically based on the state, the region. You'll see the federal tax credit here. So those will automatically apply. You can add any incentives manually, like depreciation or other local incentives that you may want to model. Last but not least, you just want to set the view. So whatever angle you leave this in, whatever's in that white checkered box, that's the snapshot in the proposal tool. And then you can add multiple views, 3D, 2D views. You can show them all to the customer, and you can set them all for the proposal as well. Once you've done all of that, the payment tab is next. We're going to skip that here today, but basically that's you can choose your payment options, cash versus finance for loan. You can look between them, compare and contrast, even see which has the best savings, the best payment options, all right here in the payment tab. The last thing, probably the most important thing, is the proposal tool itself. This is the interactive proposal tool, the customer view. This is customizable and brandable for you. You can do your color scheme, your logo, all that information here. And you can see all of your equipment, your different system options, your different payment options, all right here in the proposal. You can choose your logo, your brand. You have all of these widgets down here. You can switch them in and out, move them up and down, and even add your own custom content here or YouTube videos if you'd like. I don't know if you have any thoughts there, Daniel. Otherwise, I'm happy to explain kind of the power of this when you show solar and storage.
No, I think that's great, right? And so the power of this really, I think, in a lot of ways, is to be able to model energy storage and how that's going to help save, especially in a lot of our localities that don't have net metering agreements anymore. We just can't send everything back to the grid. We need to be able to store it in batteries and then discharge the batteries during the day. And I think this is really key to be able to, a powerful tool like OpenSolar is able to share that. Again, it's so much more than that, right? It's that CRM. I can see right there, schedule a demo, sign agreement. It's right there, makes it quick. It's easy. We're all busy to get in this life now to be able to quickly sign this and go forward. So we have about 3 minutes. So let's jump back really quick and we'll go ahead and finish this off.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. We'll go quick here. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, sorry, going back. No worries. Take us back to the presentation.
Yeah, of course. Let's quickly run through this. Really excited about our new battery. 6.6 stacking battery. Each one of these modules is 6.6 kilowatt hours. It stacks up to a 20 kilowatt hour system, right? That comes just into the NFPA 55. It's truly, a lot of people got stacking batteries are truly stacks in the sense that the power and the communications are all stacking together through the rapid stack connectors. We still got a fuel gauge on it, right? It's really cool. We're not going out to the old Power Shack looking at the Trimetrics battery meter anymore. We're looking at apps. Of course, we got the apps, but we still have a fuel gauge on that to align it. It's indoor or outdoor rated. It's really exciting to be able to put this on a wall now. It's wall mountable. And I think looks matter. And we do really have a nice looking battery. I know we're running up on time, so I just want to keep us moving. But one of the things that really sets us apart is our warranty. It's 100% depth of discharge, unlimited cycles, no throughput. You get a 10-year warranty. At the end of that 10 years, we warranty 75% of retained energy capacity. Cold weather is always a big factor. We've done some unique things to our batteries that allows it to work down to 14 degrees Fahrenheit without heaters. We do have heating options on some of our other batteries as well. LFP, right? We've always leveraged lithium iron phosphate here at SimpliPHI Power. A lot of our competitors have used cobalt in the past. Although now everybody, I think, is moving to that, right? It gives you that safety, that cycle life that a lot of people are looking for. You can see some of our estimated cycle life. That's like 16 years for some of these cycle life as well. You can stack them, right? You can stack them up to a 3-stack. And then additionally, you can parallel up to 6 batteries together. We still have some of our other legacy batteries available. These work great in lead acid battery replacement. And additionally, we also have high voltage batteries, so work with high voltage inverters as well. Generators, that's what I really think is cool about OpenSolar, Andrew, is your ability to pull generators into that ecosystem. We have air-cooled generators that operate on either propane or natural gas. And then we have some liquid-cooled generators for larger commercial systems. I'm really excited about the 6.6. It's an innovative, easy to install program. We got great apps. We have a really well-known brand. Probably a lot of you have a lawnmower. World-class company, US based, and we're agnostic battery. We work with many other inverters. OpenSolar, there's a QR code right there. There's a lot of really cool. I love that you have an AI chat on your help center there. That's pretty cool, Andrew. Briggs Stratton has a learning platform as well. It's called Power Academy. I know we're at time, so we're going to keep going a little quickly. There's money available. We're going to give you $1,000 off your first install. And if you do sign up for our RQ program here, we'll give you $100 off every battery. Tech support, I think, is really key. I know OpenSolar has a great tech support. So do we as well as here. Andrew, thank you for being here with me today. What we have is both my email and phone number and Andrew's email and phone number up there. Any kind of, if you got any last minute Q&A, please put that in there. Any final thoughts for us, Andrew, on the how we're going in this industry and what's making you excited?
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Really appreciate it. I think for me, what's most exciting is trying to just streamline things for pros in the US to try to eliminate those soft costs. Being a global company, we see all around the world solar is a lot cheaper and happens a lot faster, and hoping that we can, get some of those great lessons and, feedback to the US to do similar stuff, whether it's permitting or with technology or ordering your products. So look for a lot of new stuff for us around that next year, especially when it comes to electrifying the home and other places besides solar and storage. But we're really excited. Would love to show more of the proposal with Briggs and Stratton in there and the cash flow payment processing. So reach out to us for a demo. We'll be happy to give you some more in-depth work on how to use Briggs on OpenSolar.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Dan. It was a pleasure to be here. We really appreciate it and looking